Most men think they can tell when a woman is attracted to them, but the truth is, they miss the signals almost every time. Women rarely say what they feel directly. Instead, they hide attraction inside simple phrases, words that seem ordinary but carry a deeper meaning. Tonight, we're revealing 9 phrases women say when they feel strong chemistry but don't want to admit it openly. And once you understand these hidden signals, you will never look at conversations the same way again. The truth is, many men walk through life completely unaware of the signals happening right in front of them. Moments filled with possibility, moments charged with quiet chemistry, moments where attraction is alive in the air, and yet they miss them entirely. Not because they are clueless, not because they lack confidence, but because attraction rarely speaks loudly, it whispers. Women, in particular, often express interest in ways that are subtle, layered, and emotional. Rarely do they say exactly what they feel in direct, unmistakable words. Instead, their interest appears between the lines, hidden inside playful comments, quiet questions, soft teasing. And unless you know what to listen for, those signals slip past unnoticed. A woman may feel drawn to you. She may feel the spark. She may even hope the moment goes somewhere deeper, but she will often reveal that desire through hints rather than declarations. That is why so many men leave interactions thinking nothing happened, while the woman walks away wondering why he never noticed. So today, we are going to slow things down. We are going to look beneath the surface of ordinary words and uncover the meaning that often hides underneath them. Because when you begin to understand the emotional language behind what women say, something interesting happens. Dating becomes less confusing. Moments start to make more sense. And suddenly, you begin to recognize the signals that were always there. These are 9 phrases a woman might say when she feels a strong connection, but doesn't want to express it too openly. And once you learn to hear what they truly mean, you may start noticing them everywhere. Let's begin. Sometimes the first signal comes disguised as teasing. She might look at you, smile in that slightly mischievous way, and say something like, "You're trouble." At first glance, it sounds like a warning, but in reality, it is rarely meant that way. When a woman calls you trouble with a playful tone, she is usually reacting to the feeling you create inside her. Something about your energy makes the interaction exciting, unpredictable, a little bit thrilling. You are not fitting neatly into the safe, predictable category she has placed many men in before. Instead, you feel slightly mysterious. Maybe you tease her back. Maybe you hold eye contact a second longer than expected. Maybe your confidence creates a small emotional spark she didn't anticipate. That word, trouble, often means she feels intrigued. Part of her senses a challenge. Part of her feels curious about where the moment might go. And sometimes, that mixture of curiosity and excitement is exactly what attraction feels like. Another phrase may appear when the two of you are standing closer, sharing a quiet moment. She might lean slightly towards you, inhale softly, and say, "You smell really good." Now, on the surface, it sounds like a simple compliment, but scent is deeply personal. Unlike commenting on your shirt or your shoes or your haircut, noticing someone's scent usually requires closeness. It means she has entered your space comfortably, and more importantly, she enjoys being there. Human attraction is often tied to subtle sensory experiences, the way someone's voice sounds, the warmth of their presence, even the way they smell. When she mentions your scent, it usually reveals something small but meaningful. She has already allowed herself to notice you, not just visually, but emotionally and physically. And that level of awareness rarely happens without some level of attraction. Sometimes the signal becomes even clearer through hesitation. A woman might pause for a moment, look at you with a thoughtful expression, and say, "I don't usually do this." That sentence carries layers beneath it. On one level, it protects her image. People naturally want to feel understood and respected. By saying she doesn't usually behave this way, she reassures herself that she is not breaking her own boundaries without reason. But the second half of that message is more interesting, because when someone says they don't usually do this, they are also saying something else. This moment feels different. You feel different. She is acknowledging that the connection between you has shifted her usual behavior, and when someone steps outside their normal patterns for you, it often means the emotional pull is strong. Another phrase sometimes appears late in an interaction, when the night begins slowly winding down. You might both glance at the clock, she might stretch slightly, smile, and say something like, "It's getting late, but this is really fun." Now think about that carefully. If someone truly wants to leave immediately, they rarely add the second part. They simply say they need to go. But when she emphasizes that she is enjoying herself, she keeps the door open emotionally. It signals that the moment still matters to her. It suggests she isn't rushing away. In fact, she may be hoping the interaction continues. Sometimes attraction reveals itself through curiosity. During a conversation, she might suddenly ask something simple, almost casual. "Do you live close by?" Logistically, it's just a question, but emotionally, it can mean more. When someone asks about proximity during a strong connection, they may be mentally exploring possibilities. They are imagining how the evening could unfold, how easy or difficult it would be to extend the time together. It doesn't promise anything, but it shows that the idea has crossed her mind, and attraction often begins exactly there, in imagination. Then there are moments of playful challenge. She might raise an eyebrow, tilt her head slightly, and say something teasing like, "Do you really think I'm that innocent?" This kind of statement is rarely random. It introduces a hint of mystery. She is showing you that there is more to her personality than meets the eye. Perhaps she has a confident side, a playful side, maybe even a slightly rebellious side she doesn't reveal to everyone. By bringing this up, she is inviting you to see deeper layers of her identity. And people usually reveal those layers only when they feel comfortable and intrigued by the person in front of them. Another phrase can feel surprisingly simple, yet carry strong meaning. "You're different." Those two words often emerge after she has quietly compared you to other experiences in her life. Human beings naturally notice patterns. We observe similarities and differences without even realizing it. So when she tells you that you are different, she is acknowledging that something about your presence stands apart. Maybe it is the way you listen. Maybe it is your calm confidence. Maybe it is the way you make her feel understood. Whatever the reason, she is recognizing a contrast. And contrast is often the birthplace of attraction. Later in the interaction, as the energy begins to shift, she might ask something that sounds almost simple, yet carries an invitation inside it. "So, what now?" On the surface, it seems like a question about the next step, but emotionally, it can mean something deeper. Moments like this happen when both people sense the connection, but neither has fully decided how to move forward. Her question isn't necessarily confusion. Sometimes it is curiosity. Sometimes it is encouragement. She may be waiting to see whether you will guide the moment into its next chapter. And then there is perhaps the most misunderstood phrase of all. At some point during a flirtatious conversation, she might suddenly say, "We're not having sex tonight." For many men, that statement sounds like a clear rejection. But context matters. If the topic was never mentioned, if the energy wasn't playful or intimate, she probably wouldn't bring it up at all. When someone references something like that, it often means the idea has already existed in the background of the conversation. The phrase can serve many purposes. Sometimes it protects her self-image. Sometimes it creates playful tension. Sometimes it simply allows her to acknowledge the chemistry without appearing overly direct. The key thing to remember is that words alone rarely tell the whole story. Real attraction lives in the combination of signals. Eye contact that lingers a little longer than expected. Body language that moves slightly closer instead of stepping away. Smiles that appear naturally without effort. Soft laughter, curious questions, moments of comfortable silence. These subtle pieces form the real language of connection. And once you start noticing them, interactions begin to feel different. You stop overanalyzing every word. You stop assuming rejection where none exists. Instead, you begin to read the emotional atmosphere of the moment. You become present, relaxed, aware, because attraction is rarely announced loudly. It doesn't usually arrive with dramatic declarations or obvious statements. More often, it hides inside ordinary conversations, inside teasing remarks, inside small questions, inside quiet moments where two people feel something, but neither one fully says it. Learning to recognize those signals doesn't mean assuming every interaction leads somewhere. It simply means becoming more aware of human connection, more aware of the subtle dance that happens when two people feel curious about each other. And once you start seeing those hints, you may realize something surprising. Many opportunities in life were never absent. They were simply quiet, waiting for someone observant enough to notice them.